Hey everyone, Vince Giordano, Juniata County Library. And each day I give you a short video that answers your questions, so ask us anything. Today I want to talk about book banning. So, the topic of book banning has been going on for some time, and it basically, in a short version, is in different libraries throughout the world, and I'm going to focus on the United States. People can submit requests to remove a book from a certain library collection by banning it or just removing it entirely or placing it in another part of the library that's a little more reserved. A lot of this happens in school libraries. And when it comes to public libraries, a lot of it has to do with children's materials. Parents and adults often feel that children are susceptible to being polluted with ideas that they don't feel are appropriate through books or other materials, so they want to have them banned or removed to protect the children, which is noble and which they, in the end have intentions of wanting to protect children. But the job of policing what can and can't be read isn't to be done by another parent to someone else's child. It should be done by the parent of the child. So often, when I watch parents go to a library, a child might pick up a book and then go to their mother or father and say, "Hey, I'd like to read this book." And often the parent will look at the book and they'll page through it and look at it and they'll say, "Sure, go ahead." Or sometimes they might look at it and be like, "Oh, maybe not today," because maybe it's more of a mature subject that they want to wait and talk about with the child. That's the way to go. If if a child wants to check something out, that should be a conversation between the child and the caregiver, and that decision on what's available shouldn't be decided by somebody else. What could be an acceptable topic for reading or believing in something might be acceptable to one family, but not to another. And that's okay. But as a public library, we make things available to the public. In maybe a church library or an academic library or a school library, they tailor materials there for certain ages or certain beliefs. But as a public library, we make things available to the public. And as America is becoming more and more diverse, we try to make materials available to meet the needs and the interest of all people. Um, so when a book is challenged or banned from a library, that does not mean it happens in all libraries. Maybe in a specific library in a specific town or state that happens, but that does not happen then to all the libraries. That's not removed from all other libraries. Um, we have a process that if you find an item in our collection that you would like us to reconsider having in our collection, we have a form that you can fill out that we want to follow a formal process, so you can fill it out and explain, did you read the book or not, what you feel is not appropriate about the book, what actions you'd like to take. Often a book could be offensive and someone has a problem with it, but maybe they don't want to go through that real lengthy process of having it removed. Maybe they just want to vent about it. Or maybe someone tells someone else about a book and then that other person gets mad about it and wants it removed when they didn't actually read the book themselves. Now, I acknowledge that a book or a subject might be appropriate in, let's say, a large urban library where there's a lot of different people, but maybe it's not appropriate or of interest to a small rural library where the population is pretty similar. So that really is considering the community standard, and that's important to do. If a book is wanted by somebody in a small rural library and we don't own it, we can do an interlibrary loan request where we can get it from one of those other libraries for you. So we can always get things for you. And often, if somebody wants a book and they ask for it, I'll buy it because somebody's going to read it. But I often do have to consider things, factors and conditions when I buy things for the library. Often, nonfiction books are just not read very much at our library, but romance and mystery books are. Urban fiction books are not really read in our library. We don't have urban areas in Juniata County, but in areas like York, they're read heavily. So it's important to consider those things. And as libraries, we stand for open access to anyone for any book or any material. So we do not try to make that decision for you. You are to look at it and make that decision yourself. And we do not keep detailed records of what you check out because we feel that people will read and learn the best if they are not looking over their shoulder and thinking someone's going to look at what I'm reading. And we just let you check things out. We don't believe in taking materials and putting them in a mature content section because what if you're standing there and someone looks and they see you standing there? They're going to judge you and think that you're maybe weird or have weird interests. Let's take away those stigmas. Let's allow each person to decide what they want to read and go from there. So, thank you for watching. Ask us anything.